Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful day. And I always say it's a beautiful day. Not because it's cold, because it's sunny, because it's warm, because it's rainy, whatever the case may be. I say it's a beautiful day because it's another day to be alive. Another day to live this purpose life that God has given us, to be His imagers in the earth. And, we probably don't do that as well or as often as we should. And really what that comes down to is us getting in step with the Spirit of God. Us aligning ourselves and tuning our hearts and minds into what the Spirit's doing. And as I was raised Pentecostal, charismatic, all in that realm, we kind of emphasized, the experience from after Jesus, obviously, but the Spirit of God has been ministering and being part of the triune God since the beginning, since Genesis 1. The Spirit of God, the Spirit of the Lord hovered over the waters. He was active then. He's always been active. He empowered people in those days, and He spoke to people in those days. He gave dreams and visions. He gave words. He gave direction. He gave strength. And that's what we have to do in our walk, is to become reliant upon that Spirit to lead us and to guide us. And like I said, Paul said, get in step with. He's doing stuff. Are we joining the Spirit of God in our lives? Are we in tune to what? And I'm not talking about some mystical, there's some mystery out there. I'm talking about our life shaped into the image of Christ by the Spirit. The Spirit's living inside of us, and we tend to not rely on His wisdom and rely on what He wants us to do, because we're so focused on what we're doing, and we're so enamored or distracted by all of the other things in our life, all of the things on our mobile phones, all the apps we have, all of those ideas. The Spirit's an app. Why don't we tune into it? But the most divine app that you've ever experienced, because it's in us. It's not something we have to grab a device for, or something we have to rely on that way. We can rely on Him to speak truth, to encourage, to strengthen. And the answers for our lives are right here in the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Christ. That Spirit that raised Christ from the dead lives inside of you and I. Why don't we utilize it? That's not ooey gooey, mystical, weird. It's quietness and strength in who He is, and trusting that. Because, we get lost in our own, is that me? Well, yeah. Is that my thought? Yeah, because He's inside of us, but we don't tend to trust it. We don't tend to rely upon it. We don't tend to yield to it. The Spirit of God, Genesis 1 and 2 talks about hovering chaotic waters at the beginning of those scriptures. That's always described. If you kind of grab that thread and you pulled it through scripture, there would be chaotic waters into the watery deep. I'm doing a study on Jonah right now. That, him being hurled into the ocean Jesus said that was the story of Christ, 3 days in the grave and then rising up out of it. It's there. The story of who Christ was has always been told throughout all of the Torah and through the Jewish scriptures. He's been telling us that story all along. That's what Jesus said. So it was plain right in front of it. That's what he said to the guys on the road to Emmaus. You know, he called them fools because didn't you read all this stuff? But it was the Spirit of God that hovered, and that's the kind of stuff the Spirit of God will reveal to us. And, you know, where I fail, and I'm sure you can relate, is when I listen to the voices of others, get distracted by them, when I put more stock in what someone's predicting about something else, or someone's saying on the news, or someone's saying in society, or someone's opinion, or someone's offense, or someone's revenge, or someone's justice or injustice. There's injustice in the world, we all know that. And the Spirit of God is the one that directs us. And so I want to invite you this morning, or whenever you're watching this, trust Him. Turn off the other voices. Turn off the apps. Turn off the stuff. And listen to Him. He loves you so much. I love you. I bless you with health and healing, wisdom and knowledge, power and prosperity, and the gifts and the fruits of the Spirit of God to be evident and flowing in your lives. Have a great week.